Simon Brown doing the presentation this morning. So our Wednesday webcasts, we're going to be talking stock. We'll look at ETFs. We'll look at different sort of collective investment schemes using website and the like. And today in particular, I want to look at FANG ETNs, FANG, Facebook, Apple, Alphabet, Netflix, Google. The changes of all because Alphabet became a Google and the like. But nonetheless, let's delve into listed at the beginning of October, so quite brand new onto our market at this point in time. First, I want to kick off with, what is an exchange-traded note? Now, many of you will say, hey, ETFs, you know those. Exchange-traded notes, pretty much the same. The key difference is that an ETF physically holds those underlying assets. An exchange-traded note does not, which means a couple of things. Firstly, it means there's credit risk. So, if the counterparty goes bankrupt, you join the queue. Now, counterparties in South Africa, it's the likes of Standard Bank's got a couple of them out there. We've now got Firstrand with some out there, and they've had a couple of others. So they're not for 5 or 10 years. On expiry, the issuer has a couple of options. They can roll them. In other words, they can issue a new one and move you into that new one at no cost to yourself. They can extend that expiry. So they can push it out further, or they can essentially close the ETN and pay out the net asset value of that ETN. So they've got a couple of different options that they can do there. Not allowed in a tax-free account because of that credit risk, so no ETNs in your tax-free investment accounts. They do trade on the JSE as per like ETFs, like shares, so they are JSE instruments, and you will find them where you would normally find any other JSE instrument that you're going to trade. So in that sense, they're perfectly normal. And then there is a market maker, and we'll go have a look at that market maker. I'll show you the example of that market maker in a moment. Market maker means they're essentially making a price. They get a fair value and they sit on either side of what that fair value is. So Firstrand have issued 10, they actually issued 20, but over 10 different underlyings. Issued over Tesla, Netflix, Amazon, Alphabet, Facebook, McDonald's and Coca-Cola, Microsoft, Apple, and then the iShares Core MSCI World ET. And I've chatted with Firstrand, and they do plan to list some more. They're going to have a look at a couple perhaps from Asia, maybe some more out of the US, and perhaps also some in time from Europe. But what we've got here is, so the iShares Core MSCI World ETF is nice, but we've already got that available via ETFs on our market. That in itself is not thrillingly exciting. We've got 2 consumer stocks, McDonald's and Coca-Cola, and then of course we've got 7 of the tech stocks and those your high flying. And a lot of folks have on my Twitter stream been saying, but these are not lacquer, they're too expensive, the valuations. Maybe, but that's not the point. Whether you agree with the valuations or the like, that they are available, and one day, in fact, as recently as March, those valuations were a whole lot cheaper as markets had been collapsing. So it really is about the opportunity set for us rather than do you like the valuations. Maybe they never come to a point where you do like that valuation, but if you do, they are now available. They've also issued 2 classes, and they are defined by having either a Q or a C at the end of the code that we use. And those are quite important. The Q has no currency impact. In other words, you're just going to, if Facebook is up 2% in the US, your ETN will be up 2% regardless of what the Rand does. If the Rand moves 10%, your ETN won't change value at all. The C's have currency impact. In other words, if Facebook's up 2%, but the Rand strengthens 2%, the net effect is +2 minus 2 equals 0. So there won't be a move. And they also then have a 1% annual fee. So you can choose with or without currency impact. It's a slightly weird concept, removing the currency, but certainly, for a lot of folks, maybe they prefer it without, particularly during periods of Rand strength. Now, that's always easy to spot in hindsight, maybe a little harder to spot as it's sort of happening. But if you're expecting the Rand to go from, say, the current 16.50 down to, say, 12 as an example, you might say to yourself, well, hey, you know what, let me buy the Qs because I don't want to get hurt by the Rand. Inversely, if we're at 1650 and you think the rand is going to 22, you might think to yourself, well, hey, let me get that currency impact and take the C's, because that will give me even more benefit in terms of that particular move. Gideon, TER is so Q's no TERs, C's 1% essentially. And they're calling it a tracking error, but essentially it's a total expense ratio. So the question then is the why. And a lot of folks have said, well, I've already got an offshore account. Why do I need this? No, sure. I mean, if you've got a web trader and you already got money offshore, or you plan to set up a web trader and take off your allowance, then these aren't massive for you. But if you don't want to move offshore, if you want to remove currency impact, but also fractional. We'll come to the prices in a moment. But, Amazon is about $3,500 a share. That's around 57,000 Rand per share. Not everyone's got 57 grand to buy one Amazon share. These ETNs are trading around 10 Rand. So you get a tiny slice of Amazon or Facebook or whatever the case may be. If you're a high net worth and you've got your account offshore and everything, then these probably aren't for you. But certainly, if you're not, then they are something I think is certainly well worth a look. Where do we find them? If you're on the online share trading platform, you go to instruments, you click on exchange traded funds, and there they all are listed. And you'll see, the codes, etc. And then they give you the C's or the Q's at the end of them, so you can get those codes. The FNB obviously is what they are, who they are. Then you've got the ETN, which tells you that it's an FNB ETN, AL alphabet, C currency, Q no currency. So there are all of your codes sitting there and available for transacting. Question around tax-frees. Yeah, so they can't go into a tax-free, and that's because so no ETNs are available. It's credit. ETFs are going into that space. And there are, as I said, market makers. So I grabbed a snapshot earlier this morning. Let me go to there. So there are the ETNs on the side over there. And you can see that they've got buys and offers. Now, their difference between the bid and offer varies either 10 or 15 cents, and therefore is it's not too bad. It's 1.5%. And in essence, getting back to your question in a degree, in some senses, is your fee. Right, you're paying a 1.5% spread, and that is in part your fee that you are being charged for these. Here's what is important, of course, is hours, and are they using the after hours market? As far as I can tell, not. So for much of our time, for example, right now, recording this at 11:15 on a Wednesday morning, US markets are closed. Therefore, the only driver of price here is quite simply going to be currency moves, as the ZAR is moving. ZAR is currently sitting at 1650. If that moved up or down, the C's would move, but the Q's would not. They were all issued at 10 Rand. So most of them have actually had in fact, no, some of them are not. Facebooks are down. Coke's with the currency is slightly down, but the others all sort of moved a little bit higher and edging up a little bit higher. I got to say, I like them. I missed. The cents announcement came 22 September. I missed that cents announcement, but I like this as an idea, as a concept. I think it's a great innovation. They're going to list a whole bunch more, so 10 underlyings now with 20 ETNs in total. I spoke to Beckett Mkhize last week about them on my MoneyWeb show, and certainly they are looking to bring more. I don't know how many, JD, Alibaba perhaps, maybe even Tencent, etc. Yeah, question coming. Will the 10 cent be coming? Will there be derivatives on them? I don't know that 10 cent is coming. That hasn't been confirmed. Will there be derivatives, i.e., CFDs or something on them? That really is up to third parties. I mean, they are available on the JSE, so it's up to the third party. Yeah, question, where do you buy these? So you buy them wherever you buy your normal JSE shares, so or ETFs and the like. So they will be available in sort of normal places. I'm not sure if they're on AutoShare Invest. I should give that a quick look. But you would buy them as you would buy normal. So if you're buying an ETF or you're buying a Sasol share or whatever the case is, these will then be available to you at the same time. Correct, Susan. Normal brokerage applies. So it's whatever your current brokerage rate is, you will pay the normal brokerage. There's no bigger or smaller brokerage. It's just whatever your current brokerage rate is. Yeah, I mean, so the question is, what's my view on the valuations? I haven't delved into them. I saw some work that Keith McLachlan had done. He comes out as Facebook probably being the cheapest. Microsoft has run, but depends how you do valuation. If you're just looking at what is their growth relative to their PE, Microsoft's about reasonable. Tesla is bedorned expensive. So is Netflix. Apple, I think, is expensive. Amazon probably about fair. Alphabet I haven't dived into, and the world index. I mean, you make a call on world indices. I was chatting to some folks this morning. They think that the forward PEs on global indices are at record levels, or 10-year record levels, and they will grow into it with earnings increase over the next 2 years. Of course, what that requires is that the underlying prices don't move, so there might not be a heck lot of movement in that space there. But certainly, the tech stocks in the US have run hard, and they've run hard because of earnings. You know, the lockdown, the pandemic has absolutely boosted earnings to the likes of Amazon, to Alphabet, to Facebook, etc. Yeah. No, Susan, you're pointing out that there's ethical concerns around Facebook. Absolutely. My view is quite simple. I'm really glad that they are available. And maybe you've got a WebTrader account and you've got plenty of cash in there, in which case these don't work for you. But absent of that, I think they are a great looking product. Ladies and gents, we'll park that there. We'll be back every Wednesday, except for the last Wednesday of the month, which is the 28th. I am on holiday. There will be no market standard and no talking stock on that week at all, because I'm off to the beach to go and see if the sea is still there. All our videos are going up onto the YouTube channel. Head to YouTube, search Standard Online Share Trading. You will find those there. If you've got things particularly you would like me to cover on our Wednesday Talking Stocks, you can drop me an email, simon@justonelap.com or securities@standardbank.co.za, and we will add those to the list. Ladies and gents, everyone have a great day further. Not seeing any more questions coming through, so we will leave that there. Cheers all. Stay safe.